We all know how important breathing is. We can only last a short while without breath, yet as it is a subconscious action, we often never give any thought to how we are actually breathing. Please watch this video to the end. I cannot stress enough the benefits that I have personally found from this simple information. Our anatomy is such that we should always breathe through our nose, taking slow, deep abdominal breaths which calm our nervous system. That system keeps our minds calm and alert, our blood pressure low, and our heart rate slow and relaxed. When we endure stress, the parasympathetic nervous system increases our heart rate, breathing rate, raises blood pressure, and we tend to breathe via our mouth. Conversely, if we adopt mouth breathing and do not use nose breathing, it only puts the body into stress response state that brings with it many health and sleep disorders. It drops a very important first line of defense for our immune system, which can have many other negative effects. Nose breathing encourages the diaphragm and hence abdominal breathing, whereas stress encourages us to try to use our chests to breathe using an open mouth. Put simply, when we consciously breathe through our nose, it activates the diaphragm, which draws oxygen into the lower part of the lungs, the portion that contains more blood, and this increases the oxygenation rate of the blood. Hence, every cell throughout the body is refreshed and can remain healthy. The diaphragm also encourages the movement of lymph, an important part of our immune system that also cleanses and detoxifies us. The other important function of the nose is that it is our first line of defense, and when we bypass it with mouth breathing, we open our lungs to the outside world and drop our defense. We are living in very unusual times, and anything that we can do to protect ourselves and which is totally free should be given serious attention. The nose filters the air, pressurizes it, adjusts its temperature and humidity, plus one other very important function, nitric oxide, a vasodilator, meaning it widens the capillaries and atrial system, is added to the air as it passes from the nose to the lungs. This increases the amount of oxygen that is transferred to the blood. Whilst your lungs may feel like the same amount of air as expanding them, the air from nose breathing is more efficient at oxygenating the blood than when mouth breathing. So, indirectly, we need less of it, which is less taxing on the body. I would like you to think about it this way. If you are driving your car fast and change down a gear, the engine will scream at you, but you will go no faster. The same car is being overworked when it doesn't need to be, and will wear out faster. Mouth breathing is effectively us doing the same thing to our bodies by using the wrong gear to breathe. Take exercising for a moment. You've been shown all sorts of exercises that are meant to be good for you, but the most important exercise, nose breathing, is rarely mentioned. However, nose breathing while exercising can improve your performance and stress the body less. Similarly, we are given all kinds of dietary tips for our health, yet rarely are we given breathing tips. We can easily last days without food, but only minutes without oxygen. What follows next may seem counterintuitive, but the faster we breathe, the lower the percentage oxygen is actually taken up. That is because we tend to breathe fast using mouth breathing. The respiratory rate is deemed normal in the range of 12 to 18 breaths per minute. Yet, the oxygen transfer rate increases significantly when we breathe slower than this. The slow breathing is a fine balance between not stressing the body by restricting the breathing too much and breathing slowly and gently, which calms the mind and body. Buteyko observed this and developed what is often termed Buteyko breathing. We will look at Buteyko breathing in more detail in a separate video. But let's jump back to sleeping issues like sleep apnea and snoring. When you nose breathe during sleep, it opens the airways more efficiently and the air/oxygen flow, which in itself can be a simple solution to these problems. Ultimately, snoring and sleeping are to do with restriction of the airways and are more common in mouth breathers. Similarly, mouth breathing is more common in those who suffer from asthma. I'm not saying that this is an asthma treatment, but it is a useful tool for asthmatics to experiment with that is reported to bring them some relief. If you run every day, your cardio fitness will typically improve. Take a month off from running and you will find you lose much of that fitness. Use it or lose it applies to all aspects of your body. Once you adopt nose breathing regularly, the airways increase in size and efficiency. The logical problem, remembering to breathe through the nose when sleeping. Fortunately, there is a very simple little experiment that you can experiment with to change this. You place a very small piece of tape from the top lip to the bottom of your lips, like shown in the picture. We're not talking about taping a hostage here, just sufficient to subconsciously remind us that the objective is not to open the mouth. Similarly, we want to tape in a manner that, if we were to vomit in the night, our mouth is not fully restricted. What is interesting when you do this is that you often awake feeling super refreshed and wonder how you ever got by without it. There has been some great work written by people like McKeown and James Nestor, who have studied for many years why the shapes of human jaws are changing, bringing with it mouth breathing and conditions like asthma. However, I stumbled onto something which is so simple and basic you may care to try another simple little experiment, as one can only fractionally change the bone structure in the face after infancy. So you have to make the best of what you already have. Before I discovered mouth taping, I awoke one morning with an unbelievable clear nose and amazing mental clarity, without being aware of the fact I had lived with nasal congestions for many years in the morning, and my throat was typically very dry too. This led to a condition that was similar to a chest infection, but was actually caused by my throat compensating and producing its own mucus, which found its way into my lungs overnight. Yet something had changed that morning. The problem had completely gone, and I didn't know why. Like a detective, I had to hunt down the answer as to why I was feeling so incredibly good. To make a long story short, I have a cow's milk allergy and am allergic to the beta-casein A in cow's milk products, and yet not beta-casein B in goats and sheep milk products. By fluke, I'd changed the dairy I was consuming for a week, and not only did my nose and sinus open up significantly and all the congestion go very fast, but a number of tummy issues went away too, because the beta-casein A can be harmful to the digestive tract. So, back to the breathing exercise. If you lay flat on a bed and place your hands on your tummy, then take a couple of breaths in and out through your nose using the abdomen to draw the air in, not so that you draw as much air in as you can, but until you can feel your hands rise an inch or two. Then pinch both your nostrils until you cannot breathe through the nose, and then hold the breath until you feel the need to breathe again. You're not trying to go for any record here, just that your own body will alert you to when you need to breathe again. When you do feel that urge to breathe, flare your nostrils with your fingers to allow the air to flow back out of your nose easily and return to normal nose breathing for a minute. Then repeat 4 or 5 times. By normal nose breathing, I mean pulling the diaphragm down as you breathe in and pulling it in and slightly upwards as you breathe out. Once you have done this for a short while, place both hands back on the abdomen again and focus your attention on taking a shallow breath abdominally, but this time push the hands inwards to slightly restrict the movement in the abdomen. The logic being that you are aiming on taking very slow and small breaths, which you gently hold and then release. Whilst you are drawing in less volume, that volume should now oxygenate your blood more efficiently, trigger a calm feeling, yet enhanced mental clarity. Another time to use this is when you're feeling stressed or anxious, as it can quickly reverse such states. Experiment with your nose breathing as much as you can, and nighttime taping. Also consciously be aware of trying to slow down your breathing whilst nose breathing. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, as there are other videos in our breathing playlist that you may find interesting. Also, share this information and link with your friends on social media. Stay well, and we look forward to you joining us in the next video.